Here's the Pioneer horizontal discharge split outdoor section by probably someplace in China.
No, Japan. Made in China.
Made in China, designed in Japan. So it's Asian. And I'm sure it's done well. Efficiency rating 14.6 being the most efficient. It's least efficient 7.5 is a 9.2. So it's not.
That's for heating.
Not real heating efficient. Then it's 14.3 here, and it's 21 here with a possibility of 42.
Well, we don't. So this is really efficient, right? We don't have any units that go to 42 yet.
So it's not. It's
this is
23 seared. It's pretty good.
Yeah, about most of your units are like 16, 14.
So it's pretty good when it comes to air conditioning. Not so good with heating, which you'll always know when it comes to heat pump. Now we are looking to see if we have the fittings. We have some fittings right here.
Those compression.
This is wedges.
This will go on the bottom.
The customer has asked us to move this over to this corner. So we'll stay about 4 or 5 inches so we can build a wall. So we'll have to move the disconnect from way down there to here. But let me look. Where are we connecting on this thing?
I'll go right here.
On the other side?
Nope, power. And then all your connections to refrigerant goes in that.
Refrigerant connections on this end?
Yep.
So we'll need to come down that vent. Actually, that vent's perfect for where we need to be. We need right below the vent. So, why don't they do that on every one of these? They could have just.
We don't need these. We're not using 3/4. This would be if you're doing like 24,000 BTU head unit in there. You're not using it.
Bring out the copper line set out here.
Good.
This is where the power is going to go in. It says actually power input. We'll have the disconnect right here. Maybe right here. Probably right here. And we'll have a wire go up inside here with a connector. If you look inside here, they give you these, but we don't need them. It has
We need those. They come with compression fittings on it.
comes with flare fittings on it.
Yeah.
All 3/8. Let me see what we got in here. Yeah, they're all inside. You see them? Did you take them inside this?
I can't.
So we'll take this cover off right here. The 3/8 and then the larger ones back. In the back they have the flare fitting on them. This is for in case you go to a larger 3/4 size, which we will not be. This is 3/8 and quarter inch, real small. These are just in case, but we're not going to use them. The drain lines right here, we pull this down.
No, the drain line will go on the bottom.
Did you open that up?
I need a razor man.
They're all wearing shorts, I'm wearing pants, and guess what? I'm the one that has all the stuff, and I can squat down and get dirty and not worry about my knees.
I have cargo shorts.
Right, but I'm the one that has all the stuff.
don't need insulation.
Got insulation on the pipes?
Yep, and wire. We're good.
What wire?
The wire we need.
The communication wire?
Yep, everything.
So we don't need to go into town?
We need a flaring tool.
I gotta get a flaring tool.
Want to give them a quick rundown what you need? That
Yeah.
David need?
Many years I did use flaring tools in copper pipes for plumbing. Now these mini splits are doing flaring tools. So the hose is how long?
This one is 25 feet.
These will go with the legs and it will keep it from vibrating on top of the concrete. That's 25 footer. So we don't, the machine has the ability to support 25-foot lines. There will be more than 25-foot lines.
Pre-charged.
That's pre-charged inside here, not inside what about, let's open up the others that are longer, see if they're 50 foot, and if the wire is in there for it. Some really don't like all the surprises. So I have to go get a flaring tool. Since I took that out of my things in the plumbing bags and tools that I have, I took those out because I haven't used a flaring tool in quite a long time. I have, but not very much. So I'll go buy another high quality one. I won't have to drive an hour and a half back home and then an hour and a half back. And then come up in the hottest part of the day, which will be up in there anyway. I was hoping to get here early, get started, and then get it knocked out before it got terrible hot, but that ain't gonna happen. Why should you ever expect things to work out just exactly how you plan them? If that was the case, we'd all be millionaires. We're not. So is that a drain line for the kit? We had to order two 50-foot lines, or supposedly the customer ordered them.
That looks like a 50-foot, yeah.
The instructions are like a bunch of geeks. You know, they talk in their own little code. They don't really try to be very simple about things. So, effectively, per every foot past 25 feet, you have to use 0.16 ounces more Freon in addition to what's already in there.
Or a quart for this specific one, 1/4 inch, 3/8. If it was bigger, it would
If it's bigger, it'd be more. Yeah, we're using 1/4 inch, 3/8 on this, is what he's saying. And these young guys like correcting me. I'm just going to tell you as simple as I can. Is 0.16 per foot more for Freon needed to be added for the longer line. And we have two of them that will be near 50 foot. And we'll have to flare the ends, which is probably why now all of a sudden there's this real fancy automatic $300 flare tool available online, because the air conditioning guys are making so much money that they can afford to buy platinum covered. There'll be a $2,000 or $3,000 flaring tool come out. It'll massage your back while you're doing it. You put it on like an armor thing. So what we've done is run this line that's already got its insulation and both. This little area right here is where we tore the two apart. They have a way to hold them together. Obviously, they can't be the same together because they have one set back from the other. We went to the first 25-footer on the A, and you start these, you adjust them very slowly Don't kink them. That's a bad thing to kink copper. Okay, so then you start them by hand until they're on there good. Do not try to start them with a pair of wrenches or something, because you could end up stripping it. That's bad too, really bad. So take the time to shape the pipe so that you can put that on by hand almost all the way. You can usually do it. Then you can tighten it up with a crescent wrench, or it's a 3/4 size, and this is 3/4, and I think this one's going to be like 1.25 inches. I haven't tried it, so we use crescent wrench. Put this on. Then I shaped it so that it would be up against the wall. We'll end up building a wall to hide it, wrap it up in, so bugs won't land on it and make nests on it, all that kind of stuff. And it will tend to blend in. But we still have 2 more runs. Both of those are 50 foot. And then we'll, I'm not showing you up there because I'm letting Drew do it, tightening it up. But it's not something that's impossible to do for somebody who doesn't have the experience. So that's why I'm telling you with quite comfort that you can do this yourself. Now, you can't get the Freon. You don't have the gauges. So when you go to 50 foot or anything beyond 25 foot per run, you will have to have somebody add Freon to it. 0.16 ounces per 1 foot past 25. Okay, it has in it the ability to deal with 25 feet per run. After that, you have to add Freon. And we'll have to see how that all goes. I'll let you know as we go along. Right now, he's up in the attic getting sweaty just like me. See you in a bit.
Alright guys, so we, while the Boston ran to town to go get some stuff we needed, we ran these wires from the outside unit. We'll show you what it is outside. We had to go through the attic. Your refrigerant lines come in right here on this side, and it'll be on the same side as your refrigerant lines, just on the other corner. Over here, it'll be a little white tube. You just push it on through, and then we'll slide them into there and connect them there in a minute. But another thing that took us a minute to figure out that doesn't tell you in the manual or the wiring diagram, there's only 2 connectors you're supposed to connect. It's this one and this one. This one doesn't connect to anything.
This black 5-pin.
So
there's 2 5-pins.
it'll
Only
just be
connect
the
the 2
female
white
ones.
ones.
Just the females, what we're going to connect. So what we're going to do, when you put these in, there's a little holding clip right here. We got to pull it out of the holding clip so it'll reach its connection, because right now it's not reaching it.
It reaches.
Goes right there where that one is. So
Not this 4-pin. This 5-pin.
it'll go here. It's the only place it'll go. It won't go anywhere else. So we're gonna do that real quick.
And we'll be back.
They can stay with us while we do it. It won't take us very long to do it. So I'm just gonna undo the screw on the left corner here. So I can get my screw gun on. You just push it out with a screwdriver, and it gives you a lot more slack, and then we'll screw it right back up there. So what you do is you can't run it over here. It still has to go through this hole right here, and we're gonna plug it in right there, just like that. And then this guy,
We don't want to do that
we're
just
not gonna
yet.
do that yet because we have to do this first.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do here, push that back. This is a little tricky because they give you too much wires. I'm sure you can snip them or whatnot, do what you need to do. but we'll make do with it. It's a little straining on your arms to sit here. The wires, arms in the air and whatnot, but we get it done. So by the manual, the instructions, which we always go by whenever we're installing any AC, you always do what they tell you to do, not what you think you should do. And what we'll do is, in there they say, just hook them up, whatever way, just make sure it's hooked up to the same on both sides. So here, what we did, we're doing black, white, red, and then green for ground, black, white, hot, so neutral, and another hot, because it's 220, I think it is.
240.
Something like that. So we're going to start with the black one first. Usually I try to pull this whole wire through right there. And it gives you a fuss here. It does not want to cooperate sometimes. Black one. Black one. Tighten those guys down.
And don't do this with your electricity on.
Yeah, make sure your electricity's off. Hang up on. Get in there, tighten it down, just snug, don't have to over tighten it. And we'll do the next one, white, for 2 that we did.
So you're just corresponding 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 with 1,
Yes.
2, 3, 4, and 5. That you did out there at the unit, right?
Yeah, but at the unit, this one will be our second one, so this will be 1, 2, 3, B.
Okay. We'll show you when we
I'm
get out
pretty
there.
Sure. I'll have to double check that. It may not start A until the second one. But we'll see. We'll show you guys. One will go in there. Once I get it in. You just hold it in, screw it in. And this last green one, we'll see how this one does, because it's the furthest away.
Here.
I got it. No, I got it. Do. Perfect. That's done. And then we'll just to show you guys. This one here isn't used. That we know of. It's not in the manual or anything. So we go by what they tell us to do. That's what they told us to do.
Remember, this is the...
Not used.
Yeah.
We're gonna hook this guy up real quick. It's gonna go.
Where's it going?
Right here, but it'll be a specific way. It can only go in one way, which should be this way. These little pieces
Those little ribs go on the rib side.
go facing that way towards the blue switches here. And it'll go in.
A little bit of finagling you gotta do
And it's in. And then what we'll do is we'll do that, and then we'll have to install this cover. Which I'm sure,
You want to leave this down just to make sure you got everything right.
I think you want to do that. When you put your cover on, you'll take these 2 off. So you can get access to installing your cover, because there's no way you're going to get a screw gun or your screwdriver up in there to screw it. So we'll take these hooks off. Alright. But we'll go outside. We'll meet you out there, and we'll show you what we're doing outside right now. Alright guys, so we're out here. We already got the inside hooked up like we were talking about. So if you look here, these three right here, L1, L2, and ground, that'll be your power that comes in from outside into the unit. 1A, 2A, 3A is what's going out to your first head, which should be the highest capacity head. But all these heads here are all the same capacity, so we don't have to worry about that. So if you had one that's like 12,000 BTU and these are all 9,000s, your 12,000 would be your first head on your unit, which would be here. And then your lessers would be there. So your highest capacity would be your first one. And then 1B, 2B, 3B will be your second one. 1C, 2C, and 3C will be your third one. So in our case, 1B, 2B, and 3B will be our kitchen. 1C, 2C, and 3C will be the living room for us. And
We're not using L2, L3.
what?
We're not using L1, L2, L3.
The L1, L2, and the ground are the power coming in.
Okay.
So, and then your ground, it has a connector, a round connector here. You'll connect it to one of these grounds here. Unscrew it and do it there. And
We'll come back.
that's how you do it. But before we go, this is our old vacuum pump from Harbor Freight. Still kicking. And it's going to take us a minute to do what we need to do. So if you come over here. When we vacuum down to 500 microns is what you want to do, which is 29, 30, closer to 30 negative inches of mercury, which is INHG, which is inches of mercury. This one tells us a percentage. It's a digital manifold gauge. So we're only 22% through this, and we need to be at 100, which will be 30 inches of mercury, negative 30 inches of mercury. And then what you'll do is you'll let it sit for like 15 minutes after you do that, and you'll see where, if it's dropped, how much it's dropped. And if you have a big drop, you have a leak. The issue is you can't use an analog gauge. You have to have a what they call a micron gauge or a digital gauge. Otherwise, you have to vacuum for a really long time and just hope you're getting it right. So the analog gauge will not tell you what your micron is accurately. So you can get a pretty well-priced manifold gauge set, Amazon or something like this one, for $100 and get it done. But we gotta do that on all three of them, one at a time. So right now we're doing A. You don't open any of this. All this stays closed while you vacuum. You don't touch any of that right now. So while we vacuum this down, once it gets to negative 30 inches of mercury, we'll move to the next one. But we'll come back to you guys when we do that. Alright guys, when you come in here, you just hook up your power. Black's gonna go to your L1, red's gonna go to L2, and ground's gonna go to your ground. That should be it.
Once you got your 5-pin and I believe it's a 12-pin, you have to put your cover back on, but you can't because the wire's obstructed. We got the fan on going right now. Everything's working. Everything we told you works correctly. This black connector does nothing for you. So what you gotta do is you gotta remove this little hook here. Goes into the screw here. These screws have a tendency to want to stick in, but they'll fall out eventually. Just take them out. It's a little bit hard to do by yourself. Trust me, I know. Especially putting it back up. Taking it down is pretty easy. That was it, so stick them in. Alrighty. Let's move this just out of the way. Now we gotta put our metal cover back on. The thing with the metal cover, firstly, you don't want to shock yourself. But you gotta make sure these wires are in this hole. Right. What I do is put it like that. Put a screw on the screw gun. Let's come this way just a little bit. That. Then you put all your screws back in. Remember, there's one over here. There's one right here. The other screw. Now it's the hard part. That was the easy part, believe it or not. Really hard to get this, because you gotta use both your hands. Just gotta use a screw gun. It might be easier with a screwdriver. Hold it up there, find your hole. There. By yourself, it'd be really hard. There you go. Now, you just hook it up like we showed you. Don't worry about this wire. There you go.